what's in your sales stack, man? What you got over there? Ooh-wee, that looks good. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to peek inside some sales stack and give you some ideas of things that you can add to your sales stack to help you to perform at a higher level. Man, you're going to love this. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist podcast. I'm your host, Donald Kelly, the Sales Evangelist, and I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, we're going to be talking to our friend Andrew Velker. Andrew is the VP over at GPSLockbox, and he's a podcaster himself, and he is excited, and he just loves sharing ideas and things and insights that's going to be able to help you. On today's episode, we're going to peek inside of his sales stack. He's going to tell us about some of the tools he's using, why he's using those tools, and also we're going to talk about how those tools can best help you. I'm a big proponent of working smarter, not harder, using the right tools. And oftentimes companies will have tools in their sales stack that may not necessarily be as effective. And sometimes we have tools that are great and we just don't use it because we don't know about it. So I want to hear from you. We could start talking about some of the favorite tools that you have in your tool stack, even starting from your CRM and what you guys use, or some of the other ones that you want to highlight that can help some of the sellers that are out there.
It's really interesting that you said the CRM, because I mean, CRM is just like the least sexy tech stack thing out there. But the thing is it's probably the most important, and I've used them all. I've used Salesforce, I've used Zoho, I've used Dynamics. I apologize, but the one that that I love, and that I think is the most, because when I think about a CRM, I think about two main components. One, what's something that is connectable, that you can easily bolt on all the other things that we're going to talk about later on in the episode. And then two, what's really, really easy for sellers. Because when I think about the tech stack, I think of it not how does it make my job not necessarily easier, how does it take things off my plate, but how does it make me do less work for the same amount of time. And so, in my opinion, my favorite CRM for that is Hubspot. Here. So, Donald, okay, listen, let me put a little asterisk here, right here. We did not plan this. So, I did the exact same thing. I went to Hubspot way back in the day, and I was like, it's good. It's got some good bones. It needs a little bit. It's not golden brown yet. Put it back in the oven, right?
Yes. What was the biggest thing that you didn't like about it back then? Mine was like back in 2015 when I first started using it, or something like that.
I thought one of the things I really liked about Dynamics, there was only a couple things. So is I found it really easy back in the day to create really easy, quick reports based off of the data that I was generating out there. So I was able to kind of do that. HubSpot, it was like, hey, here it is in a spreadsheet, or maybe you can't find it at all. And I was like, oh, that's really disappointing. But fast forward to 7 years later, and not only does HubSpot have a lot of great things baked in, it's become like this massive platform, but also they are just like, it's so inclusive of everybody out there, all the other tech companies that are trying to do stuff, and you can just bolt it on and create Voltron. It's awesome. I love it. One of the other biggest things is, I want to caveat the rest of the conversation too, because it doesn't matter what your sales stack is. It doesn't matter how many cool tools you have, and I've used a lot of them, but if you don't know who you're going after and why, and the problem that you're solving for that specific person, industry, vertical, segment, niche, whatever, all of the sales stack stuff we're going to talk about on the rest of the podcast are basically useless. You're just adding to a bunch of noise. And so one of my favorite things in the sales stack is that to get LinkedIn and LinkedIn Navigator, because it is this tool that, so once you figure out who you want to talk to and why, and what your product does and why, and the problems that it solves, using LinkedIn Navigator is so easy because you know exactly the type of person that you're looking for. And so there's so many different criteria based off company size, location, type of company, type of industry, who's actually engaged on LinkedIn, who's not engaged. It's this really great way for you to hone in, get on the radar of the people that you want to talk to. Using regular LinkedIn is really good too. It's pretty manual, but there's all sorts of reports that you can set up to automatically kind of curate the type of people that you want to talk to. but you need to spend time figuring out who do you want to talk to and how do you solve their problem before you do this. But that's step number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is right there with LinkedIn Navigator. You brought up something really important about the sales tools and not utilizing them, because one of the worst offenders of this that I've seen, I actually really like this platform, is I love SalesLoft. They're based in Atlanta. SalesLoft is great, but SalesLoft is like anti-sales if you don't use it the right way, because you can just build those cadences and set that machine in motion and just blast prospects into oblivion. But if you don't know what you're talking about, or you're not saying the right things, or you're not targeting the right person, you can blast them all across the digital ecosystem and it's not going to matter at all, and you're just going to piss a bunch of people off. And so I've seen so many people take SalesLoft and spend so much time curating their cadences to do the right things, and so they can just click the button and walk away from it. But the messaging has been really awful, or they weren't targeting the right people. And so I would say that if you're using something like SalesLoft, which I'm a big fan of, really take time, not just how you want the sequences to go and the cadences to go and all the different, but what are you saying? Like, how are you really getting somebody's attention?
And I think sometimes people might fall into that category where it's like, screw that. Throw everything in this funnel and let it just in the sequence and let it roll. And that means I'm a good salesperson. That doesn't mean you're a great seller. Selling comes down to helping people persuade themselves to make a decision. And that requires you to have conversation and to understand, like you're saying, like why are buyers doing certain things at a certain point, doing the proper research to come with right intel and to frame that messaging and going after the right key contacts, the right people, and, multi-threading throughout the organization. It's kind of like putting on a blender and having a blender go while I go and turn off the oven. I can have it do its thing while I'm doing something else. And I think that's where people get that mixed up.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes,
dude.
100%. Because it's, I've had reps come to me and say, well, I didn't get any leads and nothing came from my cadences. And I'm like, okay, but did you see if, did somebody click on it? Did they not click on it? Was it the right thing? But I'm a big fan of, I'm not the best cook in the world, so I'm really glad that you said the blender, because I'm always planning it out and be like, okay, if I have to do this then I can do this at the same time, and I'm going to go ahead and throw this. I'm going to go ahead and soak this now because I made a huge mess. And that's exactly the right way to think about it, because all these tools will really help you do, if you use them correctly, is free up time to do the things that are most important, which are engaging, like real genuine engagement with your prospects, not... that's the goal, right? So the goal is to just get as much noise and get directly to that person to have a conversation.
How can they go about connecting with you and be friends with you, Andrew?
I mean, the best way to go is I'm on LinkedIn. There is only 2 Andrew Velkers in existence. And you will see me, the guy with the glasses. I never shut up on LinkedIn. So if you go on LinkedIn, actually it's linkedin.com/in/Andrew Velker, all one word. I'm sure you'll link it, but go find me there. I'm on there all the time. One of the things that I love about LinkedIn is I love just connecting with people and connecting other people with anything. I've been in the industry for almost 25 years, man. I'm getting old. So I know a lot of people. I'm happy to get you connected with somebody I might know. I love making connections, so reach out.
That was Mr. Andrew Velker. If you haven't done so already, go to LinkedIn. I'm looking at his profile right now. Like you said, you see him there with his glasses, and you see the nice little truck next to his photo, his name. Only a couple of them out there on LinkedIn, so literally, like you said, you can find him easily. Tell him you heard him on the Sales Evangelist podcast, and let him know that you're grateful. Ask him what else is in his tool stack, and I'll tell you, he'll be more than happy to share that with you. Hope you have a fantastic day. As always, I want you to find more of your ideal customers. I want you to know what to say when you reach out to them. I want you to close more deals. But most importantly, I want you to raise your level of thinking and go out and do big things. See ya.